success that person's having in Miami and Denver both at the same time, and some of the things they've got going on. But we met a couple of very sharp people over the last week, just randomly, and we're definitely meeting with them. One of them has already come on a Thursday night and is excited. We're following up with him this week. And the other one, we were actually sitting at the Waffle House with Jody and Chrisabeth. After last Thursday night's meeting, we went over to the Waffle House to eat. And this kid was just, it was hilarious. We rolled in and to the Waffle House parking lot, and I was driving Kimberly's car, which is a Porsche Panamera, and Jody was driving his Audi RZ8, whatever else, the top of the line Audi.
We call it bougie cars.
And we pulled in and parked right beside each other, and we walked in, and this kid was laser focused on us, and he walked right over to our table, introduced himself. I don't know who you are, I don't know what you do, but tell me about it. And it was hilarious. I mean, he just literally, when Jody says the fish are jumping in the boat, these kids they're hungry and they want something that's going to give them opportunity outside of the mainstream. And then we've got kids personally that are in the job search and all those kind of things, and just thinking about what when they interview for these jobs and they call them desk whatever, and just thinking about sitting behind the four walls in a desk every day. Most kids don't want to do that, and most people don't want to do that. But there is a movement every single time one of these companies that we've been involved with or that Hubert's been involved with has been built, and it's usually the previous generation teaching the systems and the processes and the products to the next generation, and you find those are the ones that go create a lot of wealth for themselves and for families that are in their age bracket. So I know we've talked about the profile score and all those things over the past couple of weeks, but don't overlook somebody that's in their early 20s, late teens, that wants to do something with their life, because they are a special little group. So we'll see.
We'll see. But that kind of brings us back to last week's conversation about the form method. So for all of you guys, some of you are new, so I'll kind of tell you what we're doing, but we talk about having a system, and in our system, we have a book, right? It's called the Leadership Format System. And this is the same book that we've used, that Hubert developed over 40 years ago. It's built 2 multi-billion-dollar companies. And it's right here. So if you look back into help and resources, I was checking out who joined the team today. I was like, oh, hey. And just so you know, we've had like 12 so far this month. So big congratulations to everyone. Like, that's a big deal. 12
you'll see by the numbers in a minute what that means and why we talk about that all the time. So I always say, Mr. Miyagi, one day you're painting the fence and the next day you've mastered karate, so you'll figure it out. We'll show you in a minute.
Still working on my karate.
Yeah.
But under help and resources in the back office, as soon as you go there, under tools and resources, click see more, and then you've got your HGI ebooks. So we're literally going page by page through this leadership format system, because it is our system. It is how we run our business. It feeds everything that we do. It's the psychology behind it. And I figure y'all just needed me to read to you. It's kind of like a bedtime story in the morning, right? So you're welcome. But last week we went over Forms talks about, just simulated shopping. If you're out there talking to people, like, how do you strike up a conversation? Tell me about your family. Tell me about your occupation. Tell me about, what you do for fun. What's your recreation? And then ultimately, tell them what you do. Hey, well, we teach people how money works. I'd love to grab coffee with you one day and share a little bit more about what I do and learn more about yourself. Grab their information and go. That's a couple of the things that Zach's talking about. One guy that he talked to last week was a desk guy at our hotel that we were at. And Zach was really, first of all, if you don't know Zach Odie, it's very out of his character to do things like this. Just saying. He'll talk to people, but to actually say, hey, give me your number, let me call you.
You got to be pretty impressive.
Expanding.
No, it's really more about I've contracted. So I like if somebody, I think everybody deserves an opportunity, right? But I'm not the guy that's going to recruit every Uber driver and that's going to talk to, every person that's easy to talk to. But this kid really just stuck out as somebody that loved life, was excited about doing his job, which is rare. A lot of times you walk into these hotels and you got somebody sitting behind the counter on their phone and they look up bothered. that you're even there. And I interacted with him 3 times before I actually said, you got to give me your number because I think I've got something that could really benefit you. And he was just like, "Whoa, what's this about?" or whatever else. And I said, I'll catch up with you later. I said, "But you got way too much going for you to be sitting behind the desk here at the hotel." And he was very appreciative of the comment, but that was on him. He got me to do that. It wasn't on me. I wasn't just going down there randomly looking to talk to
Actually
people.
going to get my DoorDash.
I was going to the lobby to pick up the DoorDash. That's what I was doing. That's the 3rd time when I talked to the kid. But yeah, no, it's
just remember that when you're out in public, right? How do you meet people? You just start talking to them and you turn strangers into friends. And like we've been talking about a lot, whether it's business cards or Instagram handles or shoot me a text so I've got your number. Let's talk about business cards for a second. I think most of you guys know in 24.5, no, McKenna's 23 and a half years. I've never used a business card. Amy's on here. It's what our mom used to say all the time is don't do business cards because nobody's ever going to call you from a business card. How many business cards have you picked up or been given and you've never actually called anybody from them? So if you do use business cards, say, here's my business card. Actually, will you just turn over and write your name and number on it? So you have a way to contact them. If you don't have a way to contact them, it was a great little moment, but probably unless you get on seeking someone Facebook or something, you're probably not going to find them again.
And right? there are, if they're iPhone users, and we could talk about details, there's ways. If you touch the 2 phones at the top, you have an iPhone, they have an iPhone, it shares contact information directly into their contacts. But you still need to do whatever you've got to do to get their number. That's the biggest thing, is don't just give your number and say, hey, give me a call. You have to be able to control that contact, when it happens, how it happens, all that kind of stuff.
So we're going to, again, just kind of revisit this from last week because I think it bears repeating. And I don't know that I can scroll anymore. So you guys know where the manual is. And if you have a printed one, I would suggest you kind of take notes as we go along. But friendship borrowing is really our referral and lead system. So a lot of people say, where do you get your leads? And I really want you to pay attention to these next couple of pages and conversations, because this is truthfully the answer. So most people in marketing who aren't experiencing the level of success they desire usually don't lack for a good presentation or a timely concept. What they're missing is qualified people to get in front of on a regular, consistent basis, right? Our presentation's fantastic. Our concepts are amazing. The only problem is who we talking to, right? We got to find those people to fill our boats, basically. Many companies today rely on running ads, lead lists, mailings, email solicitations, telemarketing to get new clients. Most of the people ignore or become annoyed with those unsolicited attempts to sell to them, right? And the cost for that is very, very expensive. We believe there's a better way. So with relationship marketing, which is really what we do, it's proven to be the most effective way to get to a product to market. Warm market referrals are not only very successful, but also extremely cost effective because they're free, right? You must have a system of getting and using referrals. It must not be personality driven or vary from situation to situation. I'm not the same as all you on here. Some of you I might be, but we're all different, right? So what works for me has to work for you, has to work for Michael, has to work for Elaine, has to work for everyone. So we want that duplicatable system. And referrals can be asked for during any one of these steps during the system, whether we're approaching them, the business opportunity, product presentation, ongoing client contact, it doesn't matter. We can always say, hey, by the way, who do you know? So let's skip over to the top right. Why master the HDI referral system? And these are just numbers. These are just basic numbers. So if I have one sale, let's say that I sit down with Elaine and I'm helping her with her personal plan and I close her business and she doesn't work with us, right? And I say to Elaine, hey, Elaine, who do you know that this information would benefit? Because the answer is everyone, right? And she gives me 10 referrals. Out of those 10 referrals, especially if she connects me with them, I'm going to probably close 5 of them. Same thing, right? We go forward. If we have 5 referral or 5 sales and we ask for those 10 referrals each time, now that's 50 referrals. I'm probably going to close 25 of them, at least half of them from that referrals. And you can see how those numbers grow. We'll look at that again on the next page. How else can we market? How else can we make connections? So we talk about affiliated professionals often, right? Professional prospecting, as far as, CPAs, mortgage people, realtors, all the people that are in a professional financial world. Let's make connections with them. Hey, I know you're a realtor. Everybody that buys a house needs a life insurance policy to cover the mortgage. Let's talk about that. Maybe we could partner with this. Maybe we could do a Zoom presentation together. Maybe we could do something in person. Maybe I could come to an open house, whatever. But figure out those people and how to make that work, right? Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, another good example is independent P&C agencies. A lot of them, they can't be a State Farm or something like that, but a lot of those are
What's PNC?
property and casualty. So they sell homeowners insurance, car insurance, whatever, but they're independent, right? So if you know somebody like that, they're licensed to sell life insurance, and some of them trickle around in it and they mess around in it. But they would love to have somebody that they could say, hey, here's you need life insurance here, call Gail, and then split the business. I mean, that's a no-brainer. If you can show them how they can just send you referrals and get paid more than they're getting paid now, they don't have to take the application. They don't have to do all that mess. They say, I've got your car insurance taken care of, got all your homeowner's insurance taken care of. Now you need to call, I'll use Gail again because I see her right here. You need to call Gail and get your mortgage protection and your life insurance and all those kind of things taken care of. And then they end up getting a deposit in, 2 to 5 days to a week after that policy issues. That's an easy way, but all these people, you have to understand, they don't want to help you. They want you to help them. So when you go talking to affiliated professionals, you've got to know the game. You got to know what they're doing. That's one of the biggest things. So if you're brand new in the communication, gathering, referral, harvesting world, that's going to be a tough bit. That's going to be a tough group to go to, because people try to harvest their contacts and their network all the time. CPAs are super, super tough. A couple different reasons.
If you have that, take someone experienced with you.
Absolutely. If you've got a personal connection, and I always go like, I think Stuart says it a lot. If you're doing business with somebody, don't hesitate to ask them to do business with you, because that's a relationship right there. And so I would tell you all those things. If you're a customer of these people, talk to your insurance agent, talk to your CPA, talk to them about what it is that you do. And if you're brand new, again, talk to us so we can explain it to them. But we've had a lot of success in those areas of getting. Now it's not a big. It's not the big boom of business that you might think it is.
You think it is, but it really isn't.
Well, a lot of people are, when they start out, are focused on licensed people already, or somebody that's already in the industry, or somebody that's in these, instead of just going for the hungry people that are on their list that want to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. Those are the people that change your business, are the people that aren't in this world. These other ones are just ways to get your name out. It's more branding and letting the community know who you are and what you do. So the next part we'll talk about is social media, but yeah, and we've got some very specific rules and guidelines on social media.
Oh, we do?
Yes, we do.
Maybe he can tell us what those are in just a second. But as far as social media, that is a great way to network, right? To meet more people, to talk to people. The one thing that I'll tell you about social media is that is your storefront. That is your website. That is what you look like when you walk into a room. Whether you're walking into a room or not, people are consuming what you put out on social media. And if it's negative, they're not going to do business with you. If it's overly political, if it's overly religious, they're not going to do business with you. And whether you like it or you don't, that's your storefront, right? So what I would tell you is to be a positive light. Like, people want to be around people that have energy, that bring them up, that make them feel warm and fuzzy. And that's what your social media should be too. You don't have to be somebody that you aren't. Just if you have really strong opinions about something that's polarizing, you're not going to change anybody's opinion anyway. So don't put it out there, right? Just saying. But share the happiness, share the positivity, share the things that you do for fun. I think some of you were in our Instagram challenge at the beginning of the year, and it's really, really hard to actually do that every single day as far as creating posts and creating content. If that's who you are, I love you. I want you to be more of that. If that isn't who you are, fine. But whatever you share on social media, be positive about it. You know, Facebook tells you every single day whose birthday it is. So make it a point to go in and say, hey, Breezy, happy birthday, whatever, right? And just send that message, because just like she just smiled, they're going to smile and go, oh, Facebook told her it's my birthday, but she said hi anyway, right? Like, that's a big deal. And it allows you to engage in genuine conversation. If you see someone's post that you like, comment on it. Don't just like smile to yourself and be like, oh, that's fun. Like, actually comment on it. So when you're on social media, start thinking about it as part of your business. Start looking at it from that perspective. Think about the people that are around you. Like, I think you could make a dream list of people that you think would be great at this business, just because of how they react on social media and what you see. There are several people on my list that one day will be on my team. Some of them I don't even know. But I see how they interact on social media. I know that they have a great following and just this great aura about them. So to me, that's how to use social media. If you're Herson, for some of you guys that don't know, Herson has been with us for maybe a little over a year now. He just crossed over $400,000 in personal sales, and he's probably got 8 or 10 people that are over the 100,000, 200,000 mark on his team, and then a million of them that are making good money, which is good. That's positive. That's what we want to see. But he's young. He's 26. He is social media like crazy. And like, he posted something yesterday, and he was sitting at lunch. I wanted to message him and be like, Herson, you're always eating. He was sitting at lunch with his girlfriend at this bougie restaurant, and they're like carnivore diet, because they're all trying to be skinny and fitness and all this kind of stuff, right? So they got these chickens and
It's
like
working for him.
all this thing, and he's sitting there, but then he pans the table with his phone camera, right? Like, he's videoing what's going on around him. They both have laptops sitting up. She's on I don't know if she's on her phone or a Zoom. He's on a Zoom here. There's a camera up here. There's a camera over here, and he's like videoing it, and he's saying content is king. For him, content is king. That's what he does. So if you find some people like that, great, but you don't have to be those people.
Yeah.
Just know that, right? But if you get some of those people,
It's funny
keep
also.
posting.
Rafael Preciado took he did kind of a mashup. He's very good with his social media too, but he did kind of a mashup of multiple different clips that he does this moving around his house, sitting on the couch, sitting in the front seat of his car or whatever, and then he puts them all together into a little reel. And he used some of the things that Tim O'Rourke talked about on our Wednesday call a few weeks ago about, the history of taxation and income tax, and talked about different income tax rules for self-employed versus employees, and all this stuff that was just, it was content, it's valuable, and it got people interested and intrigued. And he's got a big following.
It's just designed to attract people.
But every time, this goes back to the interaction piece on social media. Every time you interact with somebody, they're going to show up more in your feed, right? So understand that when I talk to you about rules about social media, yes, it's your billboard. And when you walk out of a meeting with somebody, one of the first things they're going to do when you share your contact is they're going to look you up on social media.
You don't need a website.
They're going to stalk you. They're going to be like, all right, tell me about these people. What do they do?
They stalked all of y'all.
Yeah. So she's a master stalker when it comes to social media. But they're going to do that. So make sure what they see is something that they want to be or join or be around, right? That's lesson number one. There's, if you've ever watched any news coverage or elections or anything else, that if you want to alienate half of your market and your potential of people that need the products and services that we offer, be politically polarizing on your social media. They ain't coming to you, the other half, right? That's just the way it works. I still am blown away by some of these musicians and professional actors and people that use their platform to alienate people, alienate fans. They're not going to change anybody's mind, so don't do it. Just be positive. And if you're going to get more of what you click on. So if you're drawn into that, and we all have people in our families, we all have people that we know that get sucked in by the clickbait and they get down the rabbit holes and whatever else. The reason they get more is because they click on it. And we had a video that Gary Vee posted a while back about, if you don't like your feed, if you keep blaming your news feed for your attitude and for all that kind of stuff, he was like, go find a positive, type in the word positive or happiness, and then go through that category.
Follow like the first 25 things that show up
and comment on them.
feed, right?
And all of a sudden your algorithm completely changes. I mean, if you knew every day you could get up and go out and have a great day, which most of you can, it's a choice when you get out of bed as to how you approach the day, but that you can fix that constant influence there. So be that positive, be that for those people. And then also, when it comes to using your social media, the interaction with people brings you into their feed as well. So if you go in and react to people's posts, you and whatever you post that's hopefully positive or hopefully, a lifestyle thing that they want to live, whatever that is going to show up more often. And you're going to have this drip campaign that's organic in their social media. So,
because I think social media is less for selling and more for attracting, right? Like you'll see me occasionally post some things about our business, but most of the stuff that I post is, wherever we are today. Who knows where we are?
yeah.
But anyway, so just know that that's there. If you are like Kirsten and you are an influencer and you are in that world, totally embrace it and be in it because you can make a fortune. If you aren't, unless you are absolutely committed to it, it is very hard to become that person. So don't get distracted, right? Social media is new to this world. We built $2 billion companies without it.
Yeah. And it's also, you got to be consistent. A one post a week might be a lot for you, but it is not going to boost your business. So if you make a post a week and you sit there and wait for people to DM you and ask you to sell them something,
oh, that was good.
It's not going to happen. Even the great content creators out there, they have people on their team that recycle their content and repost it. I think I saw Gary Vee. I mean, he's just in my feed a lot because I've been watching him lately. But he said that if you want to be an influencer, you got to post like 100 times a week. And if you're not committed to posting 100 times a week, then you probably need to have other marketing like friendship borrowing.
But you can hire someone that posts 100 times a week.
Yeah, but you got to give them content, whatever you want to do.
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You can recruit someone. You can recruit somebody that is in that world, and that then becomes a social media too. Funnel for business for your team. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that's enough on social media. Everybody kind of gets how that works. So harvesting referrals, the approach and contact. So once the approach has been made, we've met, right? We've had a brief conversation. Even if the prospect isn't interested in attending the BOP, which means the business opportunity presentation that we're hosting every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or a product presentation meeting, there's still an opportunity to obtain referrals. And I think this is something very important for us to listen to. So I appreciate how you feel. Our business isn't for everyone, but let me ask you a quick question before we get off the phone. I've found my best new associates come through referrals from quality people like you. Who do you know that might be interested in getting involved in a new business venture or a possible career change or whatever you say there, right? But the key is, who do you know? And ask, okay, Victoria, I get it. You had a baby, right? Life's crazy. I understand that. And I know maybe now's not the right time, but who do you know that might be interested in what we have to offer, might be interested in coming to work with us? And it's going to, if you say, do you know anyone? The answer is what? Yes or no. Mm-hmm. If I say, who do you know? You're more likely to say, oh, I think my brother's looking. Maybe he'd be interested, right? And that's all you can do is who do you know? Throw it out there. The business opportunity presentation. If the prospect has attended the BOP, whether it is a Thursday night BOP, it's in person at the office, it's an individual Zoom call, and is not interested in joining, there's still an opportunity to get referrals. I appreciate getting to meet with you today. As you can tell, our concepts are pretty fantastic, and they make a huge difference in someone's life. I work strictly on referrals. Would you be kind enough to write down some names of people that you might think would benefit from what we do? Yes, absolutely. And then the product presentation, then we'll kind of talk about this for a second. The product presentation is the best time to get referrals. Once they've seen the power of our concepts and products, once they've had their own personal plan done, now they get it, right? The light bulb goes off and they're like, oh, this is information everybody needs to hear. I never knew this. Nobody ever told me. Why aren't we taught this in school? So after completing that presentation, get referrals. Mm-hmm. So just say something like, as you can tell, these concepts will have a dramatic impact on your financial future. The amazing part is that most people don't realize these concepts even exist. Who do you know? Remember, we said, who do you know again? Who do you know that at least needs to have a chance to hear about these concepts so they can have the same opportunity that you did? So, again, we're not going to be reading these scripts out to people, but these scripts are designed to give you words to say. So, what you should be doing in your playtime is thinking through these scripts so that when you are in one of these situations, they come naturally off your tongue. I'm gonna stop the share for a second and then I'll pull this back up. But one of the most fascinating things I have ever seen, ever seen, ever, like blew my mind,
It's
ever
not that
seen.
fascinating.
Fascinating. To me, it's like brilliantly fascinating. Does everybody know? I don't know why they've never come to me because I'd actually buy, but don't call me if you're one of them. Has everybody heard of Cutco knives?
Everybody has.
Right? Cutco knives are like door-to-door people or whatever that sell these fantastic knives, and they really are amazing. Like, the only time I've ever seen one in person, my mother-in-law had one. I remember it like 20 years ago, and she's telling me about the steel blade and the perfectly balanced, like she holds it on her finger, like she should have sold them to me, like bowling ball base and like all this stuff, right? But supposedly they're magical kitchen knives. I think you can sometimes see them in Costco.
And that was
But
fascinating.
shut up. But there was a Cutco kid that approached someone on our team because he was referred to her or whatever. Sat down and she's like, "I'm not going to buy anything." Guess what? She did. But anyway, right? So bought this, and he said, because I think that they're getting like tuition reimbursement or book money or something, right, for college. And he said, if I get 25 names from you, I get an extra $200 towards my books or something like that for this semester. Well, guess what she did? She's like, absolutely, I want to help you out, right? And so she gave him those 25 names and group texted them with him, right? So if it's like Breezy's on my screen, so I see her. So it's like if I met with Breezy and she knows 15 people and she group texts and was like, "Hey, my friend Kimberly is running for a contest, and I told her I would introduce you because her company's gonna like buy our books or whatever," right? But group texted, so now that is a warm referral for me. That was a warm referral for him. So then when he reached back out to people for Cutco, they're like, "Oh yeah, Trisha said you'd be calling," right? Because they had that group text together. So I think it's pretty magical. I think it's pretty amazing. So group text people, we use group text a lot in our, product presentations. I had, I'm trying to remember, somebody called me, one of y'all called me the other day, and said that they had somebody. Oh, it's Sonia. She works at a pharmacy and she's working at this moment. But she called and she had a pharmacist that needs their financial plan done, and they got to move this money by March 1st. And what do I do? And I said, well, just tell them that you're going to group text them with me, and we're going to schedule a time to talk about how we can help them. But that way, if you group text someone, now I've got that introduction, or Gail's got that introduction, or Elaine's got that introduction, right? And now we've got that credibility that we can reach out and say, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'd love to schedule time, have a conversation." And we've got that group text. So group text to me, I think, is fantastic. And we're going to use that a lot, whether it's clients or, people that are potentially interested in our business opportunity.
And a satisfied or excited client is 100 times more effective in getting a referral than a salesperson going down a list. So, I mean, you can all use this once you go through the filters and you get your own plan done and all that kind of stuff. You can just talk to your warm market and you can say, "Oh my gosh, I just met Kimberly and she put together this plan for us and we're so excited about the things we're able to do." You have got to sit down and hear what she's got to say. You didn't say you were selling them anything. You said, "I did this and I think you need to hear what she has to say." And they were like, "Okay, yeah, let's figure this out." And you just group text them right there. "Hey, Kimberly, hey, whoever. I just told them that you helped me out and they want to sit down and see what we can do for them." It's so much more. If you want to talk about getting started in this world and you are just getting started and people in your warm market don't know you as a financial coach or as a life insurance agent or as any of those kind of things, be the excited person that learned something. Be their friend that is excited about a new concept, and then refer them to whoever is training you. And just like that, guess what? Sure. Yeah, we're going to bring you on that. We're going to say, oh, it's so simple. That's what I want you guys to realize, is that we're not trying to tell you to go out and read and study all these things and change who you are in your warm market. Now, you can go out into your cold market or into your social media, especially if you use TikTok. It's the only one that you can be seen by people that aren't your friends or don't follow you already. But you can create yourself. You can be somebody totally new. But in your warm market, let them see your change and an excitement, but not in a weird robotic kind of a reading, scripts to them. So anyway, that's my
all right,
sense on
so ongoing client contact is also a great way to harvest referrals. So anytime you have a follow-up with any of your clients, you're continuing to build your relationship with them, as well as creating opportunities to get new referrals. No matter how much time has passed, your clients have met new people who need to hear about our concepts. So it's very important, obviously, to stay in contact with your clients. I have some of my very first clients from 24 years ago are still my clients today. Now we're friends. Now we've got a really strong relationship. Most of their referrals come to me, but you can easily say, hi, this is Kimberly.
Hi.
As promised when we met, I'm going to call and check in on your financial picture just to see if anything's changed or if you need any help with me. Or congratulations on the baby, Victoria. So excited for you guys. Let's schedule a time when things settle down to regroup and see if anything's changed financially. When we do that, and this is a funny story, so it says wait for answer, WFA. Jody said that he had one guy on the call or on his team years ago, and they were making these phone calls, right? And Jody's like, do you need me to help you? Do you want me to say anything? He's like, no, I got this. And he said something, and then he said, woofa. And the guy's like, what? What did you say? And he said, woofa.
That's why it's spelled out and says wait for answer now. Because it used to be in a footnote down here and it said W period, F period, A period.
Jody said he fell out, and he was like, after it was over, he was like, why did you say woofa? He was like, well, that's what it says. And he's like, oh my God. So if you wait,
if you are reading, make sure you read it in advance and you're familiar with it.
Don't say woofa when you call somebody, because they will wonder if you've been bitten by a rabid dog or something. But yeah. I appreciate the opportunity of doing business with you. I love sharing our concepts because of the impact we have on people's lives. As you know, I work through referrals, and I don't want to burden you again by asking you for a list of names, but I would love to ask you to encourage your friends and business associates to give me a call so I can show them the power of the concepts that we're offering. Thanks again. If you need anything else, please give me a call. So again, it's just asking for referrals when you're in these conversations. If you're having a follow-up client meeting, ask for referrals. If you bring somebody to the product presentation and they're finished with it, ask for referrals. If you introduce the business opportunity to someone and they're not interested in working with us, ask for referrals. So just ask for referrals. So this, I think, you want to say anything else?
I mean, I will say that human nature is to say no. There's a reason why if you've ever been in a phone center or telemarketing or whatever, there's a reason why they harass you more than once. A lot of times they have to hear you say no 3 times before they can hang up.
Yes.
Unless you hang up on them. Just hang up. Right? So either just hang up or whatever else. Don't get into it. But human nature is initially to say no. We don't have, yes days like they talk about on television and those things with your kids. I never would have survived a yes day with my children, especially my youngest. That's a day where you have to say yes to everything. Oh God, we'd be destitute. But people will say no. And a lot of times it's when you hang on to that next thing. So if somebody says, no, I'm not interested in the opportunity, like it says on the left-hand side here, that next thing they will probably say yes to. So that's when you say, great, then when could we sit down so I could show you these concepts and how they'll work for you? Okay, you said no, you're not interested. And you'll revisit the team thing, right? But you can get into that. Same thing if they say, you know what, I'm pretty good right now. Thanks for the education or thanks for the information. You can say, great, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're in good shape, but I bet you know some people that aren't. Who do you know that could benefit from our training and education and the products that we offer? You're going to then be able to get some. And then sometimes they just say no. And that's okay. You just go on to the next one. But remember that when you're talking, don't just be, and it hurts your feelings when somebody says no. That's also human nature. But you'll get a thicker skin. You'll get tough about that. And
Most people don't say no. They just say not right now.
they just say not right now. Right.
That means you can ask them again
later. So, but let's talk down here. Obviously, we've gone through a lot about these scripts, not in great detail. We will have some full day trainings in person in Atlanta and other places, maybe even around that. And as some of you know, we do retreats periodically, which are great for 2 to 3 days of getting away from everything going on at home and getting out and into that immersive training environment. So we'll dive into some of these on those events. But let's talk about overcoming some of the basic objections that you're going to run into as you talk to people, because that's the biggest reason people don't open their mouths, is because they're afraid when somebody has a question or an objection, they're not going to have the right thing to say. So let's look down here at the bottom on the right. 3 of the most common objections in trying to get referrals. Some clients feel uncomfortable that they may upset their friends and relatives. This comes mostly from a typical over-aggressive salespeople who are pushy in the sales process. It is important for you to let them know that if the referrals are not interested in meeting, that you will not pressure them in any way. Due to the potential impact on our concepts and products could have on their financial future, these people should at least have the opportunity to hear about them. I mean, I encourage everyone, myself included, when I am out and about, to realize if I don't say something to this person and there is a major catastrophe and they were not prepared, is that on me? Probably so, especially when you're talking to your friends, your family, all those kind of things. So you kind of hit that button with them and say, look, a lot of people don't know how important life insurance is, even though Ethos is advertising everywhere all over the web. A lot of people don't know these things. So you just remind them, look, I'm not going to pressure anybody. I'm just going to offer them an opportunity to get the education. And if they're not interested, we'll leave them alone. Number 2, some clients tend to rule out certain people based on their own judgment. It's important that your clients know that you have the capability of providing products and services to people who are both above and below their own financial status. So some people have folks in their market, they're like, I'm not giving you that name because that person's got their crap together, right? And if you know doctors or dentists or people like that, you think because they make a bunch of money, they got all their financial house in order. I can tell you right now, they do not at all. And so they're very good doctors. They're very good at what they do, but money management is not their thing. And most of them don't have a professional that's doing it. So don't just let them know, look, don't just, think people you think need this. We teach people that are high net worth that have all these other kind of things. So you can let them know that as well. Don't prejudge anybody. Number 3, clients feel like they don't know anyone to refer. Is it possible that they cannot think of anyone at the moment? Most people know more people than they realize once they think about it. This is where the memory jogger sheet, step 1 in the LFS that we went over, can come from. Or if somebody says, I don't really know anybody. I mean, so you can have some sort of incentive. We can make a contest for you if you want, where you can say, listen, if I get 25 referrals, I'm going to get, whatever. Well, we can do that. We can make it real if you want something to say, but you can honestly say, come on, if you like what we did and you see the benefits that we're doing for you,
open your phone and show me your last 15 text messages. You know them. Open your phone and show me your Facebook friends. You know them, right? Like, obviously you're not gonna push people to do that, but
if they're my warm market,
they do know people,
and I've just, changed their life by giving them some concepts and education, you better bet I'm going to say, come on, who can we go see? I'm also going to be a little bit more, candid about the fact that when I go see them, if they come join my team, they're also going to get paid. So, but that's, again, a real warm market conversation. But just reassure people that, and you can say, that's one of the things when you gather referrals, one of the biggest things, if they've said no to the opportunity, that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I tell you what, after I meet with these folks, I'm going to circle back and let you know how it went. So I can very easily go meet with 5 of their people, and 3 of them are going to join my team, or they're going to join yours. It's up to you. Do you want to join before they do and you referred them to me and I put them on your team, or do you want me just to put them direct to me? I'm going to train all of you anyway. So it's up to you. And a lot of times they're like, well,
just in case.
Just in case. See what they do. Anyway.
All right, so let's see this. These are just some contact scripts, some things like that. Some of it is a little older, right? Because it talks about sending a letter, or obviously you could send an email, you could send a text, things like that. Understand the concept behind this. Make your words yours, but use this as kind of the core, right? And make it feel comfortable for you.
If you're good with CRMs and whatever, ours are constantly developing. You'll see this on the bottom right. You can you can import your contacts. through your email. You can create a drip campaign. You can send videos out just to get that pump going a little bit. But again, it's not as effective from a referral to closing as
If I call you or text you personally, you're going to do a lot more than if I send you an email with some, random video. I think it's a great follow up. I don't think it is really going to I think it's going to be like a mailer, right?
Mhm.
You'll get some people that convert from it, but not a lot. I
But
think
the
you still have
system,
to talk to people.
you can, and if you don't know how this works, there's training on a weekly basis on how this system works. But you can create funnel systems, and you can have your lukewarm or your cold contacts that or that you have their access to their information trickle down through. But what we really want you guys to see, here's a form that you can use for keeping up with referrals. That's important as well. But we want you to understand why, and we want you to understand the numbers and how this can work out for you. Really, we talked about this when we're training on the top 25 list, and we found these the other day, which I thought was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, you would have appreciated that. We found mine and Kimberly's original top 25 list from when we started 20 something years ago. And it's funny. So a lot of those names are in the business still. But that is the only time we've ever really had to make that list, because once we make a list, we get 4 or 5 down that list and we got new people that we're working with. So when I get 4 or 5 down my top 25 list, I now all of a sudden have 3 or 4 new teammates, and I've got 75 or 100 new warm contacts that I'm training them through. But they also have become my warm market, because they bring the relationship and I bring the trust or the credibility in this world. So that's why these numbers matter.
Yeah, I was just going to show you guys this, obviously the power sweep, like it says. If you've got one sale and you ask for 10 referrals and you close 5 of them, right, 50% of them, and let's just say that the average sale is $2,000, you've made $10,000 for asking for referrals. And we can keep going. 5 sales, ask for 10 referrals per person, you get 50. Now you're closing 25 of them. Now you've made 50 grand. All the way to 625 sales, you get 6,250, and anyway, 6.2 million. Like, you can see how quickly those numbers escalate if we truly trust the process and follow it. So the first month, initial contact, so we've got 25 new referrals. And where did these numbers come from? I sign up today. I'm brand new. I'm going to say, let's go talk to some people, right? And we're going to have a minimum of 25 on our top 25 list that I'm going to go out and help you try to build your business, right? So sign up today. I've got 25 people on my list. We're going to see at least 15 of them. Awesome. That's going to equal 5 sales and probably 3 teammates. Well, of those 5 sales, if I ask for 10 referrals, now I have 50 referrals of people to talk about the product to. And of my 3 teammates, when they hire on and they join our team, now they've got their own 25 referrals. So that gives me 75 people through my 3 teammates to go see. So it's 125 referrals just conceptually in that 1 month. So when people ask me where we get our referrals from, we can get them from anywhere, just like everybody can. Traditional networking events and social media. We can buy leads, things like that. But this is the reason I have never had to buy a lead in 24 years of working in this business, is because when I hire new people, their market becomes my market, and I go out and I teach them and I train them through that conversation. So if you run this business correctly, it should just continue to feed you people to go speak with. You don't have to host seminars and all of that, but you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
You can do all of the above. Nobody's telling you that you can't. This is just a foolproof way of really that relationship marketing that we were talking about that before. So know that. Let's see. Anything else you'll say there?
I mean, when you understand the numbers, obviously the truth lies somewhere in the middle there.
Because we're human.
Because we are human. But no, I mean, that's one of the number one things that I like to explain to people, is that literally, if you need to make an extra $500 a month, how simple is that? Yeah. Right? And that's what I tell people. We have in our hiring interview, if you've been through that, you know that. If you haven't, if it's in your fast start, you'll go through that process. But one of the questions that we ask is, how much money would you need to be making on a monthly basis for this to be worth your time in 2 months, in 3 months, and we get an answer from them. We know what their target is. And then the next question is, how much money would really make you excited? And we know what that target is. And when you put those numbers to the paper or to the calculators that we have in our back office and show them how simple it would be, you realize that I want to say that there's some crazy statistic that I could pull a number that I've made up out of the air, but a large percentage of families are one paycheck away from really having a bad setup where
Well, think about COVID when people lost their jobs. That wasn't pretty for a lot of people, right? From a not being financially prepared. So let's look at this one more time and just kind of remind ourselves, especially for new people, our system. When we talk about our system, this is it. Let's look on the left-hand side first. We've got 6 steps and we've got 8 filters. So step 1 is prospecting. That's all we've been talking about for the last few weeks is prospecting. If we don't talk to people, we're not filling our funnel with raw material, right? Out of that prospecting, we're going to actually say something to them. Hey, I'd love to show you what I'm doing. Let's grab a cup of coffee.
So let's remember exactly what the goal of each step is, right? So prospecting, the only goal in prospecting is to get a contact. It's not to give them a presentation. It's not to talk to them about anything. It's to get their contact so you can get back in touch with them later. That's easy. It's not scary. You don't have to give them a presentation or talk about product. You just have to say, hey, one of Jody's lines that he uses all the time is, I don't think anything bad can come from good people staying in touch with each other. Let me get your contact information. I'll see if we can figure out how to work together. That's a referral conversation, a networking conversation. And everybody's like, here's my card. Here's this, here's that. So prospecting is growing your list. It's adding to your list. The next part, the approach and contact, is when you actually reach back out to them and you say, hey, when can we get some coffee? I'd love to talk to you about how we might be able to work together. I'd love to show you a little bit more about what I do, whatever your conversation was.
Whatever.
When can we have some coffee? When can we hop on Zoom? Super simple. The presentation, the next part of that is when you actually show them how our business works. You show them also in that same presentation what we do for people, what it is that we do. And then we get to this, you see this prospecting on the right, contacting them, you set up that presentation. And when people say, well, what's your presentation? It's the opportunity presentation. It covers the opportunity to earn money. It covers what we sell and how we offer that and what those benefits are. And then they're going to say, you know what, I'm in. And you're going to roll over to the left to step 4. That's the follow-up and so on. Or they're going to say, you know what, the business isn't for me, but I want to know more about this. And you go straight down to the right to that product presentation. This is the flow of things. If they get to that step 4 right there, and you get over into the filters. Why do we call them filters? Because they weed out the people that we want to spend time with. It doesn't mean we're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and we're going to fire them all. If they're already part of the team, we're going to let them absorb, let them figure out where they are, and we're going to meet them where they are. But I can't wait on them to get through those filters. I got to keep putting new material in there. So we get to wherever they get to, we get to that step 4. They set that appointment and they sign up and they say, I'm ready to get started. We go to the startup, and then immediately you see what that goes over to filter 5. Develop a prospect list. Who you want to go see? Who do you care enough about to protect their families so that they're not, how many very successful people in our minds have we seen with GoFundMe's since the beginning of this year?
What's his name?
James Vanderbeek.
Yeah, that just died, right? Dawson's Creek,
yeah.
GoFundMe. Eric Dane, Grey's Anatomy, GoFundMe. If they have GoFundMes, what about the rest of the regular world, right? Like, there's no excuse to ever have to have a GoFundMe because life insurance is cheap. We just don't put it in place.
Yeah.
Until there's an issue.
So anyway, that's what these filters do. They kind of let you know how to run your business. And this is the business format system. This is what we teach people is if you run the business this way, it's foolproof. And the next thing you know, you've got people everywhere that are running the system the same way, but you got to do it first. You got to show them how it works.
So I do want to revisit, you made a good point as far as why people come to work with us. And I say this a lot. So when we first started in this business, I had no idea we were changing careers or our lives or anything, right?
Weren't even interested in it.
We just needed to make extra money. We loved teaching. We loved coaching. We loved what we did. We just didn't make enough money to to pay for daycare, truthfully. And we had to bridge that gap because, we only had so much room on our credit cards as poor young teachers. They were getting big. So that's why we started in this business. So there are plenty of people that come here that make 100, 200, 300, 400, a million, plenty of people that make a fortune here. But a lot of people start here because they want to bridge that gap. They want to make extra money, right? And they can't see the millions because they got to see the thousands first.
They're worried about the power bill. They're worried
Truthfully,
about daycare.
right? And I don't want to get lost in that. Like, we want everyone to become a dreamer and think about their possibilities and what if and really do all of that. But we also have to meet them where they are. Like, how much money do you need coming in on a monthly basis? Let's say you've been here for 3 months. How much do you want coming in monthly to make it worth your time? And they're going to tell you. What would make you really excited? They're going to tell you. And then it's easy, right? If I could show you exactly how to do that, how serious would you be? And they're going to tell you. Like, I've had people say, well, if I were here for 3 months or 6 months and I were making 10,000 a month, it'd be worth my time. I'm like, okay. First of all, they don't make $10,000 a month right now, but okay.
All right.
I can show you that. How much time can you give me? I don't know, like 3 hours a week. Okay. You're checking their reality, right? Like, if they're being serious and truthfully engaged or just throwing out some stuff. If that is true and that's what they're saying, we can still show them that. But that's kind of you gauging how serious are you, right? If I could show you exactly how to do that, how serious would you be? And if they say I'd be dead serious, then let's go. Let me show you how to do that. If they're like, I don't know, maybe.
They may or may not.
You can love them, but they might waste your time, or they might just come in and don't do anything. So, and you'll learn, because this business is all about people. You'll learn what that looks like and kind of how to filter through what their answers are. But let's just say, I'll zoom this in a little bit bigger. This is our income possibility calculator. And remember, when somebody comes in to work with us, they're at the 45% contract level, brand new babies, right? And we're assuming that someone's putting away $300 a month into a life insurance contract. 300 times 12 is 3,600. So that is an annual premium, right? If they're doing 300 a month, that's $3,600 a year on an annual premium. And it doesn't really change anything, but
Okay.
and so if I am one person, I'm brand new, I just need to pay my daycare, which again is what I needed to do, and I close one sale in a month, I'm now making $1,620 a month. How many people do you know that would be life-changing for? How many people do you know that would spend 3 to 4 hours with a client and a trainer, because they don't know anything yet, somebody's doing it for them, to literally take them by the hand, teach them every single step of the way, and put an extra $1,600 a month into their pocket? How many people do you know that drive Uber or Instacart or DoorDash or all of these places? How long would it take them to make $1,600 a month? It would take a very, very, very long time. So let's talk about the possibilities of the millions, because that's the truth, right? There is no ceiling on what you can make. You can make a fortune here. But also, let's talk about the realities of, what do you have to move forward in life? Where do we start? Right? We're not starting at the millions. We're starting at the, I need $1,000 a month. Great. One sale a month. We can do that. I need to replace a $10,000 a year income in order to do this full time, or a month. I mean, 10,000 a year, that'd be fun, right? A month income to do this full time. Okay, brand new. What does that look like? Let's say that we met with one client per week, which is still very part-time. Now we're at $6,500 a month, right? So maybe they have a rollover. Now we're at $7,700 a month. So it's very easy to replace that $10,000 a month income. And let's say we can't, I'm going to take out this annuity just to keep it clean. But let's say that one sale a week isn't enough to replace their income, right? Okay, fine. How many hours do you give to your job to make $10,000 a month? A lot. 40, 50, 60 hours. All right. So now here we're talking about 4 hours. So let's double that, right? Let's say you could give 8 hours a week and you're going to do 2 sales a week. Now we've gone over your income. This is without a team. This is beginning contract level. It is simple. It is basic. But in order to do that, we have to talk to people. We have to share our message and we have to teach them what we do. So we're going to end on this today. So today is Tuesday, every Wednesday at noon, and I'll post this in our WhatsApp group before every training, noon Eastern. We've got our products and concepts call, so you can get on there and you can learn. But every Thursday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central,
and so on.
and so on. Yeah, I was like, you guys do the rest. We have what's called our business opportunity presentation. And it can be something very simple as saying, hey, Sheila, I'm super excited about my new business. I'd love for you to hop on and see what I'm going to be doing. Might be something you're interested in, but if not, at least maybe you know somebody you can refer me to, right? Because I work strictly on referrals. And get them on that Thursday night business overview. Talk to Jody like we're doing our very, very best to get it to 30 minutes. It's been amazing. We've had, 75-ish people since the beginning of the year on every single week, which is awesome.
Mhm.
If I showed you our spreadsheet, from that survey, everybody has positive things to say, or at least the ones that fill it out. And, that's good. Maybe they didn't say anything negative because they didn't want to fill it out. I don't know. But we have, a ton of people that say, hey, I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to get started. So use that as a tool for your business. And again, it's non-threatening. This is what I do. You're going to see it from two different lenses. You're going to see my business and you're going to see what clients see. But ultimately, I'd love your referrals, if nothing else, and get them on there. The key after they show up is obviously the follow-up, because if we don't follow up with them, it was just a wasted contact and it's kind of silly to do that. But if, let's say that it's Friday. So we had this amazing Thursday night on this Thursday, and then Friday you meet the sharpest person in the world. You don't have to wait till next Thursday night.
Right.
Schedule a Zoom with me or with Gail or with, another leadership on this call, and we'll do a one-on-one conversation with them. Those work just as amazing too. The Thursday night is designed to kind of collapse your time frames and to cast a wide net, but we can easily meet with them one-on-one as well. So just remember that, right? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But
it's also one of the best learning opportunities for you, even if you don't have a guest. I would challenge you to have somebody there. It makes it much more exciting when you have new people that are checking your business out. But if you don't, get on there anyway. See the environment, see what's going on, and hear the presentation given. You can hear it over and over and over again, and you can hear different people's stories.
We want y'all to be presenting. We
Yeah.
don't want to do this forever. Like we want to raise you guys as leaders. And at the end of every week, we're going to have somebody else's story. Like last week, we had Rory and Andrea out of California. They were fantastic and amazing. We've had Stephanie Pinto from Florida. We've had who else do we have? We had somebody.
We've had there will be a lot of people that we want to get on there and share their success and their story, and it's going to be people that I have had some success in the business. I know that we will hear from Herson at some point in time, and some people that are on his team because they're doing very well, and so that's what we want everybody to hear about is the successes there. So
we will
get on
see
there
you tomorrow at noon Eastern. As always, if you need us, call us, text us, email us, whatever. We've live streamed to YouTube for those that are working that can't just join us at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. So make sure you share this with your team and let's go.
All right.
Let's do it.
And Thursday night, start inviting for it now. And it's not even too late, even on Thursday afternoon, to shoot somebody a text and say, hey, I need you to hop on this Zoom tonight and check this out. So, all right, guys, call us if you need us.
Bye. I'll see you soon, Breezy. I come knock on your door and be like,